Hello. Yeah. Alright, I tried to do a couple videos on social media, so I'm going to try them again. Um, this is the first one. Just a couple thoughts on it. As most of my current skaters' parents know, I am attempting to integrate more social media into my coaching. For years, I've been posting new jumps landed on Facebook and stuff like that, but I'm going to try to get YouTube videos done, hopefully of performances or notable performances, but also of and notable tests, but also of kind of video uh, logs or diaries of my skaters. Also, some instructional videos for my skaters, which I guess most of these things are. Um, so this is not really dealing with that. It's dealing with one of the. I've run into a few people who don't like to, who have told me they don't want to have any presence on social media. I don't particularly understand that. Social media kind of allows better communication and a better understanding of you than. I like the way this iPad's sitting. That's better. Um, I'm generally, I guess the issue is I'm a very honest and open person. I don't really have secrets or keep secrets. I don't really care if I have secrets or keep secrets. I think if you're a reasonably good person, you shouldn't need to. So I don't see how social media would change that. Um, but the other, I was listening to a couple. What are they called? Podcasts, where they dealt with specifically with the issue of social media over several hours. And one of the points that came up was that people aren't able to get away with as much. Politicians, police, brutality, governments in other countries trying to oppress their citizenry, stuff like that. You can't get away with because you can tweet and Instagram and YouTube, and everybody's holding a camera, everybody's holding a microphone, everybody's holding a way to videotape and catalog and record everything around them. So people aren't getting away with as much uh, poor behavior crap as they were. Even politicians are getting caught out more and found out more for poor behavior. And the reaction of people is, oh, they shouldn't have done that. But no, the eventual reaction is going to be everybody does. Everybody is imperfect. Everybody has things about their personality or their life that are not ideal. And at some point we have to get over this juvenile idea that everybody has to live and adhere to the same rules, the same um, kind of life path that you believe is right, that you believe is correct. Um, and the one of the prevailing ideas about the future is that social media is going to help us integrate more as society, help different cultures integrate, help different religions integrate, help everybody, because we're all getting a say, we're all getting to see we're all getting greater exposure to the world. Um, Now, obviously, it also allows you to create a bubble around yourself. If you only believe a certain viewpoint or a certain idea, you can unfriend everyone on Facebook or not follow anyone on Twitter who doesn't follow your ideas, and only follow people who follow your exact strict rules and doctrine that you live your life with. Um, but most of the people I know don't do that. A lot of us actually deliberately keep people on our social media access sites that disagree with us, that have differing opinions, so we can get a more well-rounded perspective of what's going on in the world around us. And irregardless of whether you put social bias, personal bias into it, getting information and ideas and communication from various places around the world, various countries on current events is can't help but bring us closer together as a species. Anyway, so my feeling on social media is that as I have I'm very open and honest with everybody I talk to a fault probably. So I have nothing I particularly want to hide on social media, and if I have faults, I don't mind people discovering them or sharing them or broadcasting them, because everyone has faults. And the fact that the people who avoid social media may also, for a time, avoid their faults being highlighted is only a temporary reprieve. It's at some point it's going to be impossible to avoid having your life out there in public. And if it makes you think twice about your actions or what you say or what you do in public, then it shouldn't, or there's something wrong with the way you act and think and do things. If you're, like I said, if you're a decent person, you should have nothing to hide at any point in social media. This was going somewhere. Well, kind of already went somewhere. So anyway, my point is, I don't think there's anything I'm not willing to put on social media, and I think it's only going to get more and more revealing over time. I don't think social media is going to go away. I think it's going to evolve. It already has. It evolves every year, basically. But I would like to participate in that and be integrated into that, rather than sticking to old formats that are coming into disuse. And as new generations come up with newer formats, we're going to become more and more obsolete in the way we communicate and the way we interact with people. This really didn't have a single point, did it? It kind of drifted all over the place. Oh, anyway, so if anybody wonders why I post a bunch of stuff, and occasionally I'm going to get into maybe some TMI or some personal info that's probably they would definitely never put online, it's because I don't particularly care. I don't mind putting on my faults. The only thing I kind of do mind is occasionally people put labels on, like they see an action that they don't approve of, and then they apply labels to it. Labels are a little bit difficult because everybody has certain labels they will apply to themselves. And when you do something, like if I do something, I don't mind being labeled as rash, and there's a few other things I wouldn't mind being labeled. I don't even mind being labeled as volatile. But I have some people that occasionally call me, they call the interaction I have with my students mean, which I find very odd and suspicious, since none of my students think I'm mean. 95% of my students ever in 20 years have not thought I was mean. So I have to think, since it comes from adults, since it comes from competitive coaches, people competing with me for work, for students, for I guess fame, for reputation. It's odd that these things are coming from them. Some of it also comes from adults who, as I mentioned or I will mention in a future video, I have been diagnosed several times now with mild autism. And I have no doubt that the way I interact with parents leaves them feeling like there's something a little off about me. And if that's true, if I do have mild autism, that would be it. That would explain it. I'll go into that in some later videos, but I wanted to start this first. Anyway, so my policy is that I put everything online that I can. I don't have anything to hide. There's no part of my world that I don't mind revealing online. I don't mind talking about anything. And this has always gone on with my students for 20 years. My students, once they find out, they get to the age of 7 or 8 and find out that I'm kind of an open book, they start trying to ask me more and more sensitive and awkward and questions that in many cases most adults would not answer for them. I run into the occasional parent that has an open relationship with their kid, but it's literally maybe 1 out of 20, 1 out of 30 parents. I can count maybe 3 in the course of my 20 years of coaching that have been fairly open and honest with their kids. The rest all have a certain amount of screening they do, in many cases a lot of screening they do. They always try to interpret everything that happens around them to their kid instead of just saying what happened and let their kid interpret it for themselves. So I try to be as much of an open book as possible. The only subject that I've ever banned my students from asking me about, and it only happened once or twice, is when it gets into things of a sexual nature, especially in relation to their lives. I haven't been dishonest or covered over the truth or anything. I've just said, this is not a topic we can discuss, like ever. So don't bring it up again. But it's been quite a few years. That happened in Labrador a couple times, but it hasn't happened since. Um, but most kids find it fascinating that I will actually answer openly and honestly any question they ask me. And they abuse that and push it and try to abuse it. And in many cases, their own sense of boundaries ends up stopping them before they go too far, and I don't have to worry about it. Anyway, Facebook is kind of the same thing. It's just an extension of that. Anybody can talk to me or ask me or converse with me about anything, and I'm pretty much open to any conversation about anything, anytime. Now, I don't necessarily want to drag my students or their parents into it, or coaches I work with, or judges I work with, or anyone else. So I do try to still get permission for anything I post or do. Just don't expect me to keep my own life secret, my own life heavily shuttered and veiled, because I have really not the time nor interest in trying to do that. That's it.